The smell hit Naomi first. That strange, acrid scent of melted plastic mixed with something chemical. She stood in her bathroom, her hand frozen on the edge of the trash can, staring at what looked like a warped, blackened piece of plastic buried beneath crumpled tissues and cotton pads. Her heart started beating faster, though she didn't know why yet. Something felt wrong. That instinct that lives in your gut, the one that whispers danger before your brain catches up. She pulled the tissue away carefully, like she was uncovering evidence at a crime scene. And there it was. A credit card. Or what used to be a credit card. The magnetic strip was melted, the numbers mostly gone, but she could make out enough. Her name. Naomi Patterson. The card was hers. But she hadn't burned it. She hadn't even known it was missing. Her hands started shaking as she dropped the tissues and grabbed her phone. Her fingers fumbled with the banking app, typing in her password wrong twice before getting it right. The screen loaded slowly, each second feeling like an hour. When the account information finally appeared, the number at the top made her knees buckle. Balance: $147,234.89. That wasn't right. That wasn't right at all. This was her inheritance account. The one her grandmother had left her 3 years ago. The one she'd been saving, not touching, keeping safe for the future. The one that should have had $242,000 in it. Nearly $95,000 was gone. Naomi sat down hard on the bathroom floor, her back against the cold tile wall. The phone almost slipped from her sweating palms. She clicked on the transaction history and her stomach turned. Purchase after purchase. Tiffany & Company. Neiman Marcus. The Ritz-Carlton. Gucci. Cartier. Louis Vuitton. The Peninsula Hotel. Over and over. Thousands of dollars at a time. The dates went back 6 months. 6 months of someone spending her money. 6 months of someone using her card. 6 months of theft happening right under her nose. She scrolled faster, her breath coming quick and sharp. There were dozens of transactions. Restaurants she'd never been to. Stores she never shopped at. Hotels in the city over and over again. The same hotels. The same days of the week. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Like clockwork. Someone had a pattern. Someone had a routine. Someone thought they'd gotten away with it by burning the evidence. Naomi's phone buzzed in her hand, making her jump. A text from Trevor, her husband. Working late tonight. Don't wait up. Love you. She stared at those words. Love you. 2 words that suddenly felt hollow. Because right now, sitting on her bathroom floor with a burned credit card in her trash and nearly $100,000 stolen from her, she realized something terrifying. Someone in her life had done this. Someone close enough to get into her wallet. Someone who knew about this account. Someone who had access to her personal space, her home, her things. She kept this card separate from her regular wallet, hidden in her dresser drawer under her winter scarves. She barely looked at it herself. It was her safety net, her secret security. But it wasn't secret anymore. Naomi stood up slowly, her legs unsteady. She walked into her bedroom and opened the dresser drawer. The scarves were still there, neatly folded just as she'd left them. But when she lifted them, the small leather card holder that should have been underneath was gone. Not just the card. The entire holder. Someone had taken it. And recently, because she'd seen it just last month when she put away her winter clothes. Her mind raced through possibilities. Trevor? But he had his own money, his own accounts. They'd been married for 8 years. He was a financial analyst. He made good money. Why would he steal from her? But then again, she'd never told him about the full amount of her inheritance. She'd told him it was $20,000. Not $250,000. She'd kept that secret because her grandmother had told her to. Keep something for yourself, baby girl, Grandma had said. Always have your own money that nobody else controls. Even your husband. At the time, Naomi had thought it was old-fashioned advice. Now she was grateful for it. She went back to her phone and took screenshots of everything. Every transaction. Every date. Every amount. Then she called her bank. First National Bank, this is Peter speaking. How can I help you? I need to report fraud on my account. Her voice sounded strange to her own ears. Too calm. Too steady. Like she was talking about someone else's life. I'm sorry to hear that, ma'am. Can I have your account number? She rattled it off from memory. And your name? Naomi Patterson. Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. Can you describe the fraudulent activity? Someone has been using my credit card for 6 months. I just discovered it. There are approximately $95,000 in unauthorized charges. There was a pause on the other end. 95,000? Yes. And you're just discovering this now? I don't check this account regularly. It's my savings account. I got a replacement card in the mail a few weeks ago and thought it was a mistake. I didn't realize my original card had been stolen until I found it burned in my trash today. Another pause. Longer this time. Burned? Yes. Someone tried to destroy it. I see. Peter's voice changed. Got more serious. Ma'am, I'm going to transfer you to our fraud department immediately. This is a criminal matter. Please hold. The hold music was some soft jazz that felt absurd given the situation. Naomi walked to her window and looked out at the street below. Their neighborhood looked so normal. So peaceful. Nice houses. Trimmed lawns. People coming home from work. Everything looked the same as it had this morning when she'd left for her job at the marketing firm. But nothing was the same. Everything had changed the moment she smelled that burned plastic. Mrs. Patterson? This is Detective Rodriguez from the Fraud Investigation Unit. I understand you've discovered significant unauthorized charges on your account. Yes. I'm going to need you to come into the branch tomorrow with any evidence you have. Bring the burned card, your identification, and any documentation you have about the account. We'll also need you to file a police report. Do not alert anyone that you've discovered this. If the perpetrator is someone you know, we don't want them destroying more evidence. Someone I know? The words came out as a whisper. Mrs. Patterson, in cases of credit card theft with this much money involved, especially when the card was kept in a private location, the perpetrator is almost always someone with access to the victim's home. A family member. A close friend. Someone who has regular access to your personal space. The room tilted. Naomi sat down on the bed. Mrs. Patterson? Are you there? Yes, I'm here. Is there somewhere safe you can go tonight? Somewhere you can think about who might have had access to your card? I need to think. That's fine. But please don't tell anyone about this discovery yet. Come to the branch tomorrow at 9 a.m. Ask for me directly. We'll get to the bottom of this. After she hung up, Naomi sat in the silence of her bedroom. The house was so quiet. Too quiet. She looked around at everything that had been her life for 8 years. The bed she shared with Trevor. The photos on the dresser of their wedding day. The art they'd picked out together. The furniture they'd chosen. How much of this was real? How much of her life was built on lies? Her phone buzzed again. Another text from Trevor. Forgot to tell you, Bethany is coming over for dinner tomorrow night. That okay? Bethany. Trevor's sister. The one who was always borrowing things. The one who had a key to their house for emergencies. The one who was going through a divorce and always seemed to need money. Naomi's blood went cold. She texted back, sure. Sounds great. Then she took the burned credit card, put it in a Ziploc bag and hid it in her car. Tomorrow she'd know the truth. Tomorrow she'd start getting answers. Tonight she'd pretend everything was fine. Because whoever had stolen from her had made one crucial mistake. They thought burning the card meant burning the evidence. They didn't know about transaction histories. They didn't know about digital footprints. They didn't know that every purchase left a trail. And Naomi was going to follow that trail all the way to the truth. No matter where it led. The bank branch looked like every other bank. Clean. Professional. Boring. But Naomi felt like she was walking into a courtroom as she pushed through the glass doors at exactly 9 a.m. She'd barely slept. Every time she closed her eyes, she saw numbers. Transactions. Dates. That burned credit card. Trevor had kissed her goodbye that morning like nothing was wrong. Have a good day, babe, he'd said, straightening his tie in the mirror. So normal. So casual. Like he wasn't married to someone whose entire world had cracked open. She'd smiled back and said, you too. The lies were already starting. But this time she was the one lying. And she had a good reason. Mrs. Patterson? A woman in a gray suit approached her. Late 40s, sharp eyes, the kind of person who didn't miss details. I'm Detective Rodriguez. We spoke on the phone. They shook hands and Detective Rodriguez led her to a private office in the back. Once the door was closed, the detective's professional mask softened slightly. I've already pulled your account records. I want to show you something before we go any further. She turned her computer screen toward Naomi. These are all the transactions from the past 6 months. I've organized them by location and frequency. The screen showed a spreadsheet. Color-coded. Organized. Damning. The majority of high-value purchases were made at luxury retailers in the downtown area. But what's interesting is the pattern of hotel charges. Look here. She pointed to a highlighted section. Every Tuesday and Thursday for the past 5 months. Same hotels. The Ritz-Carlton. The Peninsula. The Four Seasons. Always checking in around noon, checking out at 5 p.m. Naomi's stomach turned. 5-hour blocks. In the middle of the day. When she was at work. Someone was having an affair, Detective Rodriguez said gently. Using your money to pay for it. Can you tell who was checking in? We've already contacted the hotels. They're sending over their records. But there's something else. She pulled up a new screen. Look at these jewelry purchases. Cartier. Tiffany. 3 separate purchases totaling $42,000. I called the stores. They remember the customer. Naomi leaned forward. Who? A woman. Late 20s. Blonde hair. Very excited about her purchases. She told the sales associate at Cartier that her boyfriend was spoiling her. She even showed pictures of him on her phone. Did they get a name? The purchases were all made with your card, so the name on file is yours. But the sales associate remembers her saying her name was Beth. Bethany. The room went cold despite the heating vent above them. Mrs. Patterson, do you know anyone named Beth or Bethany who would have access to your home? Naomi's voice came out flat. My sister-in-law, Bethany Patterson. She's my husband's sister. She has a key to our house. Detective Rodriguez wrote that down. Tell me about her. She's 28. Going through a divorce. She's always been difficult. She borrows money from Trevor sometimes. She comes over unannounced. She's had problems with credit card debt before. Trevor always says she's just going through a hard time. And your husband? Would he have noticed a card missing from your drawer? Naomi shook her head. That's the thing. This wasn't in my regular wallet. I kept it hidden. Under scarves in my dresser. My husband doesn't go through my dresser. But Bethany. She paused, remembering. Bethany borrowed clothes from me sometimes. When she stayed over after drinking too much or after fights with her ex-husband. She knew where I kept things. Did your husband know about this inheritance account? He knew I got inheritance money. But I told him it was $20,000. Not $240,000. My grandmother told me to keep my own money separate. I thought she was being old-fashioned. Now I think she was being smart. Detective Rodriguez nodded. She was protecting you. And that protection is about to pay off. Because here's what we're going to do. I need you to file an official police report. Then I'm going to contact the stores where the large purchases were made and request security footage. Hotels keep records for a year. Stores keep them for 6 months. We're going to identify everyone who used that card. What if it's really her? What if it's Bethany? Then she's committed credit card fraud, identity theft, and grand larceny. That's prison time, Mrs. Patterson. Serious prison time. But I need you to be absolutely sure before we move forward. Because once we start this investigation officially, there's no going back. Naomi thought about Bethany sitting at her dinner table tonight. Eating her food. Drinking her wine. Pretending to be family while she'd stolen nearly $100,000. I'm sure. Do it. Good. Now, I need you to do something that's going to be hard. I need you to act normal. Don't confront her. Don't hint that you know anything. We need to gather evidence first. If she realizes you know, she might run or destroy more evidence. She's coming to dinner tonight. Perfect. Let her come. Watch her. Listen to her. See if she's wearing any new jewelry. Take note of everything. But don't tip your hand. After the bank, Naomi drove to a different part of town. She'd found a private investigator online last night. His name was Bernard, and his website said he specialized in infidelity and fraud cases. His office was above a dry cleaner, small and cluttered with file boxes and old coffee cups. Bernard himself was in his 60s, with gray hair and tired eyes. But when Naomi told him her story, those eyes got sharp. You think your sister-in-law is having an affair with your husband? I don't know yet. But she stole my credit card and spent almost $100,000 on hotels and jewelry. Someone was with her. Someone she wanted to impress. Could be a boyfriend. Could be your husband. Could be someone else entirely. Bernard pulled out a notepad. Here's what I can do. I can follow both of them. See where they go. Who they meet. I can get photos, videos, time-stamped evidence. But I need to know, are you sure you want to see what I find? Yes. Even if it's bad? Especially if it's bad. He quoted her a price. It wasn't cheap. But Naomi had money. Money that was actually hers that no one had stolen. She paid him half up front. Start today. My husband works downtown at Morrison Financial. My sister-in-law lives at the Oakwood Apartments on 5th Street. Here are their photos. She showed him pictures on her phone. I need to know if they're together. I need to know if they're still using my money somehow. I need to know everything. Bernard studied the photos. This your husband? Yes. Trevor Patterson. And this is the sister? Bethany Patterson. Well, she's going back to her maiden name. Monroe. Bethany Monroe. I'll start surveillance today. Give me a week. I'll have answers for you. Naomi went to work after that, though she couldn't focus on anything. Her boss, Sharon, noticed. You okay? You look exhausted. Didn't sleep well. Everything all right at home? I'm not sure yet. Sharon gave her a concerned look but didn't push. They'd worked together for 5 years. Sharon knew when to back off. The day dragged on forever. Every email felt pointless. Every meeting felt like a waste of time. All Naomi could think about was tonight. Bethany coming over for dinner. Sitting in her home. Smiling at her while she'd robbed her blind. At 5:30 she left work and stopped at the grocery store. If she was hosting dinner, she needed to make it look real. She bought ingredients for Bethany's favorite meal, chicken parmesan with garlic bread. The irony wasn't lost on her. Trevor got home before Bethany. He kissed Naomi on the cheek and grabbed a beer from the fridge. How was your day? Fine. Yours? Long. Had a difficult client. But it's handled. He loosened his tie and sat at the kitchen table. Thanks for having Bethany over. I know she can be a lot sometimes, but she's really struggling with the divorce. It's no problem. Naomi kept her voice light as she breaded the chicken. Has she found a job yet? Not yet. She's looking. I've been helping her out with some money here and there. Just until she gets on her feet. That's nice of you. Trevor smiled at her. That's what family does, right? Right. Family. The doorbell rang at 6:30. Naomi wiped her hands on a towel and went to answer it. When she opened the door, Bethany stood there in a new dress. Designer. Expensive. And around her neck was a diamond necklace that probably cost $10,000. Hey. Bethany hugged her. Something smells amazing. Naomi hugged her back, feeling like she was embracing a snake. Come in. Dinner's almost ready. Bethany walked in like she owned the place. She always had. Too comfortable. Too familiar. She went straight to Trevor and hugged him, and something about that hug lasted too long. Just a second too long. Naomi watched them. Really watched them. The way Bethany touched Trevor's arm. The way Trevor smiled at her. The way they moved around each other with a familiarity that felt wrong. During dinner, Bethany talked about her divorce. Richard was such a jerk. I'm so glad to be done with him. He never appreciated me. Never bought me nice things. Never made me feel special. She touched her necklace as she said it, running her fingers over the diamonds. That's beautiful, Naomi said, pointing to it. Is it new? Bethany's eyes lit up. All this? Yes. I finally treated myself. I figured I deserved something nice after everything I've been through. It must have been expensive. It was. But sometimes you have to invest in yourself, you know? She smiled, and there was something sharp in that smile. Something that said she thought she was smarter than everyone else. Trevor jumped in. Bethany's been doing really well lately. Managing her money better. Really? Naomi kept her voice casual. That's great. Where have you been shopping? That dress is gorgeous too. Oh, just around. There was a sale at Neiman Marcus. I couldn't resist. Neiman Marcus. Where $8,000 of Naomi's money had been spent just last week. They finished dinner and Bethany left around 9. After she was gone, Trevor helped clean up. She seems to be doing better, he said, scraping plates into the trash. Yeah, she does. Naomi loaded the dishwasher, her mind racing. Where do you think she got the money for that necklace? She probably saved up. Or maybe Richard gave her something in the divorce settlement. Maybe. That night, Naomi lay in bed next to Trevor, listening to him breathe. He fell asleep quickly, like he didn't have a care in the world. But Naomi stared at the ceiling, her mind spinning. She thought about Bethany's necklace. Her dress. The way she'd touched Trevor's arm. The way he'd defended her. Protected her story. Tomorrow Bernard would start his surveillance. Tomorrow the bank would get the security footage. Tomorrow the truth would start coming out. But tonight, Naomi had to lie next to her husband and pretend she didn't suspect him of the worst betrayal imaginable. It was going to be a long night. Bernard called at 2 p.m. the next day. We need to meet. Now. Naomi was in a meeting, but she stood up immediately. Excuse me. Emergency. She grabbed her purse and left, ignoring Sharon's concerned look. She met Bernard at a coffee shop 3 blocks from her office. He was already at a corner table, laptop open, face grim. "That was fast," Naomi said, sitting down. Her heart was pounding. "I followed your sister-in-law this morning. Left her apartment at 10 a.m. Know where she went?" "Where?" "Your house." The coffee shop noise faded to background static. "What?" "She let herself in with a key. Stayed for about an hour. But here's the thing, your husband's car was already in the driveway. His office told me he called in sick this morning." Naomi's hands gripped the edge of the table. "Show me." Bernard turned the laptop toward her. On the screen was a series of photos. Time-stamped. Crystal clear. 10:02 a.m. Bethany's car pulling into Naomi's driveway. 10:05 a.m. Bethany walking to the front door, key in hand, smiling. 10:07 a.m. Bethany entering the house. "I waited outside for an hour," Bernard said quietly. "They didn't come out. So I went around back. Your bedroom curtains were open about 2 inches. He pulled up another photo. Naomi's stomach dropped. It was her bedroom. Her bed. And in it, unmistakably, were Trevor and Bethany. "I'm sorry," Bernard said. "I got video too. Time-stamped, date-stamped, everything. You'll need it for court. But I wanted you to see the stills first." Naomi couldn't speak. Couldn't breathe. She stared at the photo. Her husband. His sister. In her bed. In her house. While she was at work, trusting them both. "There's more," Bernard said. "I pulled some records last night. Your husband and Bethany have been texting constantly. I got access to phone records through a contact. Over 300 texts in the past month alone. They've been careful about deleting messages from their phones, but the records don't lie." He pulled up a spreadsheet. Numbers. Dates. Call logs. They talk every day. Multiple times. Calls lasting 30-40 minutes. And look at these dates. He highlighted several rows. These match the hotel dates from your credit card statements. Every Tuesday and Thursday when they were checking into hotels, your husband's phone was pinging off the same cell towers. He was there. With her. Naomi felt like she was underwater. Everything sounded distant. Muffled. "How long?" Her voice came out as a whisper. "Based on the phone records? At least 8 months. Maybe longer. 8 months. While Naomi had been working, cooking dinners, sleeping next to him, trusting him. 8 months of lies. And my money? My credit card. I contacted my guy at the police department. The bank sent over the security footage from the stores. It's definitely Bethany in every video. But here's what's interesting. In 3 of the videos, you can see someone waiting for her outside. Tall guy. Brown hair. I compared the footage to your husband's photo." He pulled up a grainy security camera image. Zoomed in. Enhanced. It was Trevor. Standing outside Tiffany's. Waiting while Bethany shopped with Naomi's stolen card. "He knew," Naomi said. "He knew she was using my card. More than that. I think he told her about it. Think about it, how else would she have known about that specific card? You said you never told anyone except him that you had inheritance money. And you kept the card hidden." Naomi's mind raced back through conversations. Had she ever mentioned it? Had she ever shown Trevor where she kept it? Yes. What? 2 years ago. He'd needed her social security card for their taxes, and she'd told him it was in the same drawer under the scarves. He'd seen the card holder then. He told her, Naomi said. He told her about the money and they planned this together. Bernard nodded. "That's my theory. They're having an affair. They need money for hotels, gifts, whatever. She has debt. He doesn't want to use his own money because you'd notice. But you have a secret account you never check. So they steal from you. It's perfect. Except they got greedy. They spent $95,000. They got comfortable. They thought they'd never get caught. And then when she realized the bank had sent you a replacement card, she panicked. She broke into your house, probably when you and your husband were both out, grabbed the card from wherever she'd hidden it and burned it. She thought destroying the physical card meant destroying the evidence. She didn't know about transaction records. Criminals rarely do. They think in physical terms. Destroy the card, destroy the proof. But everything lives in the cloud now. Every swipe. Every purchase. Every timestamp. Naomi stood up. She needed air. She walked outside, Bernard following with his laptop. "What do you want to do?" he asked. "I need more evidence. I need everything. Photos, videos, phone records, financial records. I need enough that they can't lie their way out of this." "You've got it?" "But Naomi, and I'm sorry to be blunt here, You need to be prepared. This is going to get ugly. Your husband isn't just cheating on you. He's committing financial fraud. Conspiracy to commit theft. He helped his sister steal from you. That's criminal. Good. I want it to be criminal. I want them both to pay. Bernard looked at her with something like respect. Most people in your position want to save their marriage. They want to forgive. They want to believe it was a mistake. This wasn't a mistake. This was calculated. This was 8 months of lying to my face while they stole from me and slept together. There's no coming back from this. All right then. Give me 3 more days. I'll have everything you need. Photos, videos, timeline, financial proof, phone records. Everything. Naomi went back to work, but she moved through the rest of the day like a robot. Smiled at the right times. Nodded during meetings. Typed emails that probably didn't make sense. At 5 her phone rang. Detective Rodriguez. Mrs. Patterson, I have the security footage from the retailers and hotels. It's definitely your sister-in-law making the purchases. But there's something else. In several of the hotel check-in videos, she's with a man. The hotels are sending over their records now, but from the footage it looks like your husband. It is my husband, Naomi said. I hired a private investigator. He's been following them. They're having an affair. They've been having an affair for 8 months. There was silence on the other end. Then, Mrs. Patterson, this changes things. If your husband knew about the credit card theft and participated in it, he's also criminally liable. I need to ask you directly, do you want to press charges against both of them? Yes. Are you sure? Your husband could face serious time. This isn't just divorce court. This is criminal court. I'm sure. All right. Continue to act normal. Don't let them know you're aware of anything. We'll coordinate with your private investigator. When we have everything we need, we'll move forward with arrests. That evening, Trevor came home whistling. Actually whistling. He kissed Naomi on the cheek like always. How was your day? He asked. Fine. Yours? Oh, you know. Same old stuff. He didn't mention calling in sick. Didn't mention Bethany coming over. Just lied easily, comfortably. How are you feeling? Naomi asked. Sharon mentioned you called in sick? She watched his face carefully. For just a second there was panic in his eyes. Then it smoothed over. All right. Yeah. Woke up with a migraine. Took some medicine and slept it off. Feeling better now. Good. I'm glad. They ate dinner. Talked about nothing. Trevor told her about a client problem that probably didn't exist. Naomi told him about her day, leaving out the parts about meeting with Bernard and Detective Rodriguez. They were both lying now. But only one of them was doing it for the right reasons. After Trevor went to bed, Naomi sat in her home office and started making lists. Assets, bank accounts, investments, everything they owned together. She needed to know what was hers, what was his, and what was joint. She also drafted an email to her boss, asking for 3 weeks off starting next month. She'd need time to deal with everything that was coming. Because something was coming. Something big. Something that would tear her life apart. But for the first time since finding that burned credit card, Naomi didn't feel afraid. She felt angry. She felt determined. She felt ready for war. Naomi started keeping a journal. Not a regular journal, an evidence journal. Every day she documented everything. Times Trevor said he was working late versus where Bernard's surveillance showed him actually being. Times Bethany texted him. Times their stories didn't match up. She'd become a detective in her own life. 3 days after Bernard first showed her those photos, he called again. I have everything. When can you meet? They met at his office. This time, Bernard had organized everything into a massive file folder and a USB drive. This is 8 months of their affair in documentation, he said, spreading papers across his desk. Phone records showing 300 plus texts and calls. Credit card statements showing your money being spent on hotels. Security footage from 6 different retailers showing Bethany making purchases. Security footage from 3 hotels showing your husband checking in with her. He pulled up videos on his laptop. Naomi watched in silence as Trevor and Bethany walked into the Peninsula Hotel, his arm around her waist. Watched them laugh together in the lobby. Watched them get into an elevator. Another video. Another hotel. Same thing. I also got footage from this week, Bernard continued. They met Tuesday at your house. Thursday at a different hotel. Yesterday they had lunch together at that French place downtown Laveno. Split a bottle of wine. Held hands across the table. He showed her more photos. Trevor and Bethany at lunch looking at each other like lovers. Because that's what they were. There's no doubt now, Bernard said. This is an active affair. And they're still spending money? I checked with my contact at the bank. There's been $3,000 more charged to your account this week. Naomi felt cold. Oh. I thought they burned the card. They probably wrote down the card number before burning it. They're using it for online purchases now. Look. He showed her new transactions. Amazon. Hotels.com. Restaurant delivery services. They're getting sloppy. They think they're safe. They have no idea I know. Good. Keep it that way for now. Because here's what you need to do next. Bernard pulled out a legal pad covered in notes. I've worked these cases before. You need to get a lawyer immediately. Not just any lawyer, a divorce lawyer who specializes in fraud cases. You need to protect your assets before you make any moves. I already have someone in mind. Naomi had done her research. The best divorce lawyer in the city was a woman named Patricia Chin who had a reputation for being ruthless. Her tagline was, protecting what's yours. Perfect. Good. You also need to move money. Anything that's solely in your name, transfer it to a new account at a different bank. Do it today. Don't tell your husband. What about our joint accounts? Leave them alone for now. If you start pulling money out of joint accounts before filing for divorce, it looks bad. But your personal accounts? Fair game. Protect yourself. Naomi spent the afternoon at a different bank, opening new accounts and transferring everything that was solely hers. Her inheritance account, what was left of it. Her personal checking account. Her small savings account. She moved it all to accounts Trevor didn't know existed. Then she went to see Patricia Chin. Chin's office was in a glass tower downtown, all chrome and marble and power. The receptionist led Naomi to a corner office with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Patricia Chin was 50-ish, sharp-eyed, wearing a suit that probably cost more than Naomi's car. She shook Naomi's hand with a grip that meant business. Tell me everything, Chin said, sitting behind her massive desk. Naomi did. She told her about the burned credit card, the theft, the affair, everything. She showed her Bernard's evidence folder, the photos, the videos, the phone records. Chin reviewed it all in silence, her face unreadable. When she finished, she looked up at Naomi. This is one of the most clear-cut cases of fraud and infidelity I've ever seen. Your husband and his sister have committed multiple crimes. Credit card fraud, identity theft, theft by deception, possibly conspiracy. They've also given you grounds for divorce in every state in the country. Can I take everything in the divorce? Not everything but most of it. Marital property is usually split 50-50. But when one spouse has been stealing from the other, defrauding the other, that changes things. We can argue for a disproportionate settlement based on his criminal behavior. Plus, he'll have legal fees for his criminal defense. He'll have restitution to pay you. By the time we're done, you'll come out ahead. What about Bethany? She's going to prison. No question. The amount she stole puts her in felony territory. She'll face 3 to 5 years minimum, plus restitution. She'll have to pay back every penny. And Trevor? Harder to say. He didn't physically steal the card or make the purchases. But if we can prove he knew about it and helped plan it, he's also criminally liable. At minimum, he'll face conspiracy charges. Could be prison time. Could be probation. Depends on the prosecutor and what deal he tries to make. Naomi nodded slowly. What do I do now? First you retain me. Then we prepare. I'm going to draft divorce papers, but we're not filing yet. We want all our ducks in a row first. You're going to continue acting normal at home. Keep gathering evidence if possible. The private investigator, keep him on it. The more evidence we have, the better position we're in. How long? Another week. Maybe 2. We want the prosecutor to have enough to arrest them both. When that happens, you file for divorce the same day. We hit them from all sides at once. Legal, criminal, financial. They won't know what hit them. Naomi signed the retainer agreement. It was expensive, but she didn't care. This was worth every penny. One more thing, Chin said as Naomi stood to leave. You're handling this remarkably well. Most people would be falling apart. I'm falling apart inside, Naomi admitted. But I can't let them see it. If they see me break, they win. Good. Channel that anger. Use it. Make it productive. Because when this is over, you're going to need it to rebuild. Over the next week, Naomi became 2 people. There was the Naomi at home who smiled at Trevor, kissed him goodbye in the morning, made dinner, watched TV beside him. That Naomi was a performance. An act. Playing the role of the unsuspecting wife. Then there was the real Naomi. The one who met with Detective Rodriguez to review evidence. The one who helped Patricia Chen build her divorce case. The one who looked through Bernard's surveillance photos and hardened herself against the pain. She learned to compartmentalize. Learned to turn off her emotions when she needed to. Learned that she was stronger than she'd ever known. Trevor seemed to relax. He probably thought he'd gotten away with it. The card was burned. Naomi didn't suspect anything. He and Bethany could keep playing house with stolen money. One night, Trevor's phone buzzed with a text while he was in the shower. Naomi glanced at it. A message from Bethany. Can't wait for Tuesday. I need you. Naomi took a photo of the screen with her own phone. Added it to her evidence folder. On Thursday, Trevor said he had to work late. Bernard followed him to the same hotel where he'd been meeting Bethany. They checked in at noon. Checked out at 5. Bernard got it all on video. Naomi watched the footage that evening on her laptop while Trevor was asleep next to her. Watched her husband walk into a hotel with his sister. Watched them kiss in the parking lot before going inside. She didn't cry. She was beyond crying now. Instead, she forwarded the video to Patricia Chen and Detective Rodriguez. Added it to the pile of evidence that was growing larger every day. She was building a case. A bulletproof, airtight case. When she finally made her move, there would be no escape. No excuses. No way out. Trevor and Bethany thought they were smart. Thought they'd covered their tracks. Thought burning a credit card meant erasing their crimes. They had no idea that every text, every transaction, every hotel visit was documented. Time-stamped. Recorded. Preserved. They had no idea that Naomi had stopped being a victim and become something else entirely. They had no idea what was coming. Detective Rodriguez called on a Monday morning. We're ready to move forward with charges. Can you come to the station today? Naomi took a personal day from work and met Rodriguez at the police station. The detective led her to a conference room where a man in a suit was waiting. This is Assistant District Attorney Michael Brooks. He'll be prosecuting your case. Brooks was in his 40s with the kind of face that had seen too much. He shook Naomi's hand and gestured to a chair. Mrs. Patterson, I've reviewed all the evidence. What your sister-in-law did is textbook credit card fraud and grand larceny. What's unusual is the amount involved and the duration. $95,000 over 6 months? That shows planning. Intent. This wasn't a one-time mistake. What about my husband? Naomi asked. Brooks flipped through a file. That's more complicated. We have evidence he was present for some of the purchases. We have evidence of the affair. We have phone records showing constant communication. But what we need to prove is that he knew about the theft and participated in planning it. He knew, Naomi said. He had to have known. I believe you. But in court I need proof. What we have right now would likely result in lesser charges for him, maybe accessory after the fact if we can prove he knew about the stolen card and didn't report it. But conspiracy? Harder to prove without direct evidence. So what happens? We arrest Bethany. That's a certainty. With the video evidence, the security footage, the credit card records, she's going to jail. The question is whether your husband faces charges too. Detective Rodriguez pulled out a recording device. Here's what I'm proposing. Tomorrow you confront Bethany about the theft. We'll wire you for audio. If she admits to anything, especially if she implicates your husband, we'll have what we need. You want me to wear a wire? I know it sounds dramatic. But in cases like this, getting the suspect to talk is often the best evidence. If she confesses on tape, there's no wiggling out of it. She'll deny everything. She'll lie. Maybe. But people often confess when confronted with evidence. Especially if they think confessing might reduce their punishment. You tell her you know about the card, show her some of the evidence and see what she says. Even if she lies, those lies become evidence too. Lies that we can disprove in court. Naomi thought about it. The idea of confronting Bethany made her stomach turn. But if it meant getting justice, she'd do it. What about Trevor? Does he know about this? No. And he can't know. This is between you, Bethany, and law enforcement. If your husband is involved, we don't want to tip him off. That evening, Naomi texted Bethany. Can you come over tomorrow around 2? I need to talk to you about something. Bethany responded immediately. Sure. Everything okay? Yeah. Just need your advice on something. See you then. 2 hearts. The heart emoji made Naomi want to throw her phone across the room. The next day, she met Detective Rodriguez in a parking lot near her house. Rodriguez fitted her with a small recording device, hidden in her shirt. Just have a normal conversation, Rodriguez instructed. Bring up the credit card naturally. Show her evidence. See what she says. We'll be listening from here, but we won't come in unless you're in danger. Try to get her to admit to using the card. What if she refuses to talk? Then we arrest her anyway. This just makes the case stronger. Naomi drove home with her heart pounding. She felt like an actress preparing for the role of her life. She rehearsed in her head what she'd say, how she'd bring it up, how she'd keep her cool. Bethany showed up at exactly 2 p.m. wearing a new outfit. More clothes bought with Naomi's money. Hey. Bethany hugged her. Naomi hugged back, feeling sick. They sat in the living room with coffee. Small talk first. Bethany complained about her ex-husband, talked about a job interview she had next week, mentioned she might move to a nicer apartment soon. Moving to a nicer apartment on what money? Naomi wanted to scream. Actually, Naomi said, setting down her coffee cup. That's kind of what I wanted to talk to you about. Money. Bethany's smile flickered. Just for a second. Oh. I've been having some issues with my bank account. Charges I don't recognize. Naomi kept her voice casual. Confused. Not accusatory. Not yet. Really? That's scary. Identity theft. Maybe. The thing is, they're at stores and places I've never been. The bank is investigating. They said I might know the person who used my card. Bethany shifted in her seat. Why would they say that? Because the card was taken from my house. From my bedroom. It wasn't stolen from my wallet or anything. Someone went into my drawer and took it. The color drained from Bethany's face. She tried to hide it by taking a sip of coffee, but her hands shook slightly. That's weird. Do you think Trevor? I don't think it was Trevor. Naomi pulled out her phone and opened the photos. The ones Bernard had taken of Bethany at Tiffany's. At Neiman Marcus. She turned the phone toward Bethany. I think it was you. Silence. Heavy and suffocating. Bethany stared at the photos. Her mouth opened, closed, opened again. She looked like a fish out of water. That's not, how did you? The bank has security footage from every store. They have hotel records. They have everything, Bethany. Naomi kept her voice calm, even though inside she was screaming. You took my credit card. You spent $95,000. And then you burned the card trying to hide the evidence. Naomi, I can explain? Then explain. Bethany set down her coffee cup with shaking hands. I was desperate. The divorce left me with nothing. I had debt. I needed help. I was going to pay you back, I swear. By burning the card? I panicked. When I saw the bank sent you a replacement, I thought you'd figure it out. I thought if I destroyed the original card, there wouldn't be proof. There's always proof, Bethany. Digital records. Transaction histories. Everything lives in the cloud now. Naomi leaned forward. What I want to know is how you knew about that card. It was hidden in my drawer. I never told anyone except Trevor about that money. Bethany's eyes widened. She realized her mistake. He told you, didn't he? Naomi pressed. Trevor told you about my inheritance account. He told you where I kept the card. No. I found it one day when I was borrowing clothes. Liar. You couldn't have known what it was just by finding it. You knew it was connected to a large account. The only way you'd know that is if someone told you. Bethany stood up, her face flushed. Fine. Yes. Trevor told me you had money. He said you were keeping it secret from him and that wasn't fair. He's your husband. You should have told him. So you decided to steal it? We needed it. You don't understand what it's like to struggle. Naomi stood too. We needed it? You and Trevor? Bethany froze. She'd said too much. You and my husband stole from me together. Naomi's voice was ice. You've been having an affair with him, and you stole my money to pay for your hotels and your jewelry and your fancy clothes. It's not like that. Then what is it like, Bethany? Explain it to me. Explain how you sleep with my husband, steal my money, and then sit in my living room drinking my coffee like we're family. Bethany's face crumpled. You don't understand. Trevor and I, we're in love. We have been for a long time. Before he even married you. You trapped him. I trapped him? Naomi almost laughed. It came out harsh, broken. I trapped him by marrying him and trusting him and working to build a life with him? He was going to marry me. Bethany's voice rose, shrill and desperate. Before you came along, he was mine. But you seduced him with your perfect job and your money and your act of being so sweet and innocent. Stop. Naomi held up her hand. Just stop. You're having an affair with your brother. Half-brother. We're half-siblings. Same father, different mothers. It's not the same thing. It's still family, Bethany. And it's still my husband. He never loved you. Bethany was crying now, mascara running down her face. He told me. He said marrying you was a mistake. He said he wished he'd chosen me instead. Naomi felt like she'd been punched. But she kept her face neutral. Kept her voice steady. So you stole from me? To punish me for marrying him? To take back what should have been ours? That money, this house, this life, it should have been mine. Trevor should have been mine. And now? What now, Bethany? Bethany wiped her face, smearing makeup everywhere. I don't know. We were going to tell you eventually. We were going to wait until we had enough money saved up, and then Trevor was going to divorce you and we'd finally be together. Saved up. Naomi's voice was sharp. You mean until you'd stolen enough of my money? It's not stealing if it was meant to be ours anyway. That's not how the law works. Bethany froze again. The law? I've already filed a police report, Bethany. The bank investigated. They have all the evidence. And now I have your confession. On tape. Naomi gestured to her shirt, where the recording device was hidden. Bethany's face went white. You're recording this? Every word. You can't do that. That's illegal. Actually, in this state, only one party needs to consent to recording a conversation. I consent. And the police are listening right now. As if on cue, there was a knock at the door. Detective Rodriguez and 2 uniformed officers. Bethany backed away, shaking her head. No. Bethany Monroe, Detective Rodriguez said, walking into the living room. You're under arrest for credit card fraud, identity theft, and grand larceny. The officers handcuffed Bethany while she sobbed and protested. She looked at Naomi with hatred in her eyes. You're ruining everything. Trevor loves me. He'll never forgive you for this. I don't need his forgiveness, Naomi said quietly. I need justice. They led Bethany out. She was still screaming, still crying. Neighbors came out of their houses to watch. By tonight, the whole street would know. After they left, Detective Rodriguez stayed behind. That went better than expected. She confessed to everything. She implicated your husband. We have enough now to bring him in for questioning. When? Tomorrow. Let him think everything is normal tonight. Tomorrow morning we'll bring him in. That night was surreal. Naomi cooked dinner like nothing had happened. When Trevor came home, she kissed him on the cheek. How was your day? She asked. Good. Yours? Interesting. They ate dinner. Watched TV. Trevor complained about a work issue. Naomi nodded and pretended to care. Around 9 p.m. Trevor's phone rang. He looked at it and frowned. It's Bethany. That's weird, she usually texts. He answered. Hey, what's up? Naomi watched his face change as he listened. Watched the color drain away. Watched his hands start to shake. What do you mean arrested? He listened more, then hung up. Looked at Naomi with panic in his eyes. That was Bethany's lawyer. She's been arrested. For credit card fraud. Oh my God, Naomi said, faking surprise. That's terrible. What happened? I don't know. I need to go help her. I need to post bail or something. At this hour? Can't it wait until morning? She's my sister, Naomi. I have to help her. Of course. Naomi kept her voice supportive. Understanding. Do what you need to do. Trevor grabbed his keys and left. Naomi sat in the quiet house and waited. Tomorrow everything would change. Tomorrow Trevor would learn that his sister hadn't called him from jail. Her lawyer had. And that conversation had been orchestrated by Detective Rodriguez to see how Trevor would react. He'd rushed to help her. Hadn't asked questions. Hadn't seemed surprised. Because he knew what she'd done. And now the police knew he knew. Naomi woke up at dawn and started moving. She'd prepared for this day for 2 weeks. Now it was time. First she packed a bag. Clothes, toiletries, important documents. Everything she'd need for a few weeks. She loaded it into her car while Trevor was still at the jail trying to figure out bail for Bethany. Then she called Patricia Chin. It's time. File everything. I'll have the papers filed within the hour. The process server will deliver them to your husband at his office this afternoon. What about the joint accounts? I'm filing an emergency motion to freeze them pending the divorce proceedings. By this afternoon, neither of you will be able to access joint funds without court approval. Your separate accounts are already protected. Next, Naomi called her bank. I need to freeze all joint accounts associated with my name effective immediately. May I ask why, Mrs. Patterson? I'm filing for divorce today. My husband has been committing fraud using my accounts. My lawyer will be sending over the paperwork. I'll process that right away. The accounts will be frozen within the hour. Then she drove to the apartment she'd secretly rented 2 weeks ago. 1 bedroom, furnished in a secure building across town. Nobody knew about it. Not Trevor. Not Bethany. Not even her co-workers. This was her safe place. Her new beginning. She unpacked her bag and sat down on the couch. Her phone rang. Patricia Chin. Papers are filed. Divorce petition, emergency restraining order, motion to freeze assets, and motion for exclusive use of the marital home. The court granted everything. Your husband is being served right now. Restraining order? Standard in cases involving fraud and potential domestic issues. He can't contact you, can't come within 500 feet of you, and can't access the house. As of right now, that house is yours. What if he tries to go home? Police will remove him. I already notified them. They're waiting. Naomi felt a strange mix of relief and fear. This was really happening. After 2 weeks of planning, it was all in motion. What happens now? Now we wait for his response. He has 20 days to file an answer to the divorce petition. But given the criminal charges his sister is facing, I expect his lawyer will want to negotiate quickly. What criminal charges is he facing? That's up to the DA. But based on Bethany's confession and the evidence, at minimum he's looking at conspiracy charges. Could be more if they can prove he actively participated in the theft. An hour later, Bernard called. Your husband just got served at his office. I was across the street. He came out looking like he'd been hit by a truck. He tried calling you. Then he got in his car and drove home. Fast. Police are there waiting for him. I know. I'm watching from down the street. He just pulled up. 2 officers are approaching him now. Naomi could picture it. Trevor getting out of his car, confused and angry. Officers telling him he couldn't enter his own house. Him demanding to know why. Them showing him the restraining order. He's yelling at them, Bernard continued. Now he's on his phone. Probably calling you again. Naomi's phone buzzed. Trevor calling. She didn't answer. It buzzed again. Text message. What the hell is going on? Why can't I get in the house? Why are you filing for divorce? Call me. She didn't respond. Another text. Naomi, please. We need to talk about this. This is insane. Whatever you think I did, you're wrong. Please call me. She turned off her phone. At noon, Detective Rodriguez called the landline at her new apartment. We brought your husband in for questioning. He's here now with his lawyer. Do you want to know what he's saying? Yes. He's denying everything. Says he didn't know about the credit card theft. Says his sister must have done it without his knowledge. Says the affair is a lie. Even though we have photos, videos, phone records. He claims the photos and videos are taken out of context. Says he was helping his sister through her divorce, being supportive. Says they're family, so of course they spent time together. And the hotel rooms? He says he never went to hotel rooms with her. Says those must be someone else in the videos. But we have clear footage of him. His lawyer is arguing the footage is grainy, could be anyone. They're going to fight this hard. What about Bethany? What is she saying? She's singing like a bird now that she's looking at real prison time. She admitted to the affair. Admitted your husband knew about the credit card theft. Said it was his idea to use your hidden card because you'd never notice. She's trying to make a deal, testify against him in exchange for reduced charges. Will it work? Probably. The DA wants your husband more than her. She's a thief, but he's a financial analyst who helped plan fraud against his own wife. That's a bigger fish. If her testimony can guarantee a conviction against him, they'll take the deal. So what happens to her? Probably 2 years instead of 5. Plus restitution. She'll have to pay back every penny, even if it takes the rest of her life. And Trevor? If Bethany testifies and we can corroborate her story with the other evidence, he's looking at conspiracy to commit fraud, accessory to theft, and possibly more. 3 to 7 years. Naomi closed her eyes. Part of her felt triumph. Part of her felt sick. This was her husband. The man she planned to spend her life with. But he'd betrayed her. Stolen from her. Lied to her face for 8 months. He deserved this. Keep me updated, she told Rodriguez. That evening she turned her phone back on. 53 missed calls from Trevor. 32 text messages. Each one more desperate than the last. Please talk to me. This is crazy. You're throwing away our marriage over nothing. I love you. I never wanted to hurt you. Bethany is lying. She's trying to protect herself by blaming me. My lawyer says you have no proof. This will never hold up in court. I'll fight you on everything. You'll get nothing in the divorce. I can't believe you're doing this to me. After everything I've done for you. That last one made her laugh. A harsh, bitter sound. After everything he'd done for her? He'd stolen from her. Cheated on her. Lied to her. She blocked his number. Then she texted her boss. Sharon, I need to take some personal time. Family emergency. I'll work remotely for the next few weeks if that's okay. Sharon responded immediately. Of course. Take all the time you need. Is everything all right? It will be. The next few days were a blur. Patricia Chin filed motion after motion. Subpoenas for bank records, phone records, credit card statements. Discovery requests for Trevor's financial information. Demands for asset disclosure. Trevor fought back. His lawyer filed counter motions. Argued that the divorce was premature, that they should try counseling first. Argued that the restraining order was unnecessary. Argued that the asset freeze was too broad. The judge denied everything. Sided with Naomi on every point. Given the evidence of fraud and infidelity, the judge wrote in her order, the court finds sufficient grounds for immediate dissolution of marriage and protection of the plaintiff's assets. A week after the papers were filed, Trevor showed up at Naomi's office. Security called her before he could get to her floor. Mrs. Patterson, there's a man here claiming to be your husband. He's demanding to see you. We have a copy of your restraining order on file. Should we call the police? Yes. She watched from her office window as police arrived and escorted Trevor away. He was shouting, gesturing wildly, making a scene. By that afternoon, it was all over social media. Someone had filmed Trevor being removed from the building. The video was grainy but clear enough. Trevor Patterson, financial analyst, being arrested for violating a restraining order. His reputation was destroyed. His sister was in jail. His marriage was over. And his crimes were about to catch up with him. Trevor's arrest for violating the restraining order made everything worse for him. His lawyer called Patricia Chin the next morning. My client wants to talk settlement. I'm listening, Chin said with Naomi on speakerphone. He's willing to give up his claim to the house and agree to a 60-40 split of marital assets in your client's favor. In exchange, he wants her to drop the criminal charges. I can't drop criminal charges, Naomi said. That's up to the DA. But you could refuse to cooperate with the prosecution. Chin cut in. My client has already given her statement. The DA has enough evidence without her. And besides, we're not negotiating anything until we see full financial disclosure. We need to know what assets your client has hidden. He hasn't hidden anything. Then disclosure should be easy. We want bank statements for all accounts, investment records, retirement accounts, and any offshore holdings. We have 30 days. Until then, no negotiations. The lawyer sputtered. That's ridiculous. You're on a fishing expedition. No, we're exercising our legal right to discovery. If your client has nothing to hide, this shouldn't be a problem. After the call, Chin turned to Naomi. He's hiding money. I guarantee it. Men like him always have a secret account somewhere. How do we find it? We subpoena everything. Bank records, tax returns, credit reports. If he has money hidden, we'll find it. While the divorce proceeded, the criminal case against Bethany moved forward. She'd taken the DA's deal, testify against Trevor in exchange for reduced charges. Her testimony was damning. Trevor told me about Naomi's inheritance money about a year into their marriage, Bethany said in her deposition. He said she was keeping it secret from him and that wasn't fair. He felt like she didn't trust him. Over time he started complaining about it more. Saying how if something happened to them he'd get nothing. Saying she was being selfish. When did the affair begin? The prosecutor asked. About 2 years ago. We'd always been close. We're half siblings, same father. We grew up together. There was always chemistry. But we never acted on it until my marriage started falling apart. Trevor was there for me. We started talking more. Meeting for coffee. Then one thing led to another. And the credit card theft? That was Trevor's idea. He knew where Naomi kept the card. He told me about it about 8 months ago. Said if I needed money I could use it. Said Naomi never checked that account so she'd never notice. He said we could use it for hotels, for trips, for whatever we needed. And that eventually when he divorced Naomi, we'd pay it back. He specifically told you to use the card? Yes. He wrote down the card number for me. He knew the PIN. He'd gone through her things and gotten all the information. And when you burned the card? I panicked when I saw the bank had sent Naomi a replacement. Trevor told me to get the original card and destroy it. He thought if the physical card was gone, there'd be no proof. I broke into their house when they were both at work and found where Naomi had hidden it, burned it in her bathroom and threw it away. Trevor said to make sure it was completely destroyed. The prosecution had everything they needed. Trevor had planned the theft. He'd given Bethany the information. He'd told her to destroy evidence. He was guilty. Completely. Undeniably guilty. His lawyer tried to discredit Bethany. She's just trying to reduce her own sentence. She's lying to save herself. But then the prosecution presented the phone records. Texts between Trevor and Bethany. Did you get it? Yes. Burned it like you said. Good. No evidence now. We need to cool it on the spending. Don't want to trigger any alerts. But I need a new dress for the fundraiser. Fine. But nothing over $2,000. Keep it reasonable. Message after message showing Trevor's knowledge and participation. His lawyer requested a recess. 3 hours later they came back with a new offer. My client will plead guilty to conspiracy to commit fraud in exchange for probation instead of prison time. The DA shook his head. No deal. Your client planned this theft, provided the means and helped cover it up. He's going to trial and he's going to lose. 2 weeks later, Trevor was formally charged with conspiracy to commit credit card fraud, conspiracy to commit theft and obstruction of justice. His bail was set at $50,000. He posted it using his retirement account. Meanwhile, the divorce moved forward. Chen's subpoenas revealed what she'd suspected. Trevor had a hidden account in the Cayman Islands. $200,000 that he'd moved there over the past 3 years. He was planning to leave you anyway, Chen told Naomi. He'd been moving money out of reach for years. Can we get it back? Absolutely. The court will order him to return it. Plus, this proves he was hiding assets during the marriage, which gives us even more leverage. The judge was not pleased when she learned about the hidden account. Mr. Patterson has shown a pattern of deception, fraud, and asset concealment, she said in court. I'm awarding Mrs. Patterson 70% of all marital assets, including the offshore account, plus restitution for the stolen inheritance funds, plus attorney fees. Trevor's lawyer objected. The judge overruled. Your client stole from his wife, lied under oath about his assets, and is currently facing criminal charges for fraud. He's lucky I'm only awarding 70%. This court is not going to reward criminal behavior. When the verdict came down, Trevor had to give Naomi the house, worth $400,000. 70% of his retirement account, $180,000. The entire Cayman Islands account, $200,000. Restitution for the stolen inheritance, $95,000. Her attorney fees, $35,000. In total, he had to pay her over $900,000. He'd have to sell everything he owned. His car, his investments, his watch collection. He'd be financially ruined. But Naomi felt no sympathy. He tried to ruin her. Now he was facing the consequences. At work, Trevor was fired. His company didn't want an employee facing fraud charges. It was bad for their reputation. His friends stopped calling. When word got out about what he'd done, stealing from his wife, having an affair with his half-sister, people were disgusted. His family disowned him. Even his own mother said she was ashamed. Trevor moved into a cheap apartment on the edge of town. His lawyer fees were mounting. The criminal trial was approaching. He'd lost everything. Bethany went to prison. 2 years in minimum security, plus restitution payments that would take her decades to pay off. Before she went away, she wrote Naomi a letter. I know you'll never forgive me. I don't expect you to. What I did was wrong. I let my feelings for Trevor cloud my judgment. I thought we were in love. I thought we deserved to be together. But love doesn't justify theft. It doesn't justify betraying someone who never did anything to deserve it. You were always kind to me. You welcomed me into your home. And I repaid that by stealing from you and sleeping with your husband. I have to live with that for the rest of my life. I'm sorry. I know it doesn't matter. I know it doesn't fix anything. But I'm sorry. Naomi read the letter once and threw it away. Sorry wasn't enough. Sorry didn't give her back the 8 years she'd wasted on Trevor. Sorry didn't erase the betrayal. Sorry didn't fix anything. 3 months after filing for divorce, Naomi stood in her house now, legally hers, and looked around with fresh eyes. Everything reminded her of Trevor. The couch they'd picked out together. The art on the walls. The kitchen table where they'd eaten 1,000 meals. She hired an interior designer. I want it completely different. New furniture. New paint. New everything. I want to walk in here and not recognize it. The designer understood. Fresh start. Exactly. Over the next month, the house transformed. Warm gray walls became soft blue. The heavy leather furniture became light and modern. Dark curtains became sheer white ones that let in light. She tore up the carpet and installed hardwood floors. By the time she was done, the house looked nothing like it had. It looked like hers. Just hers. At work, Sharon pulled her aside. I don't know what you're going through and you don't have to tell me. But I want you to know, you've been one of my best employees for 5 years. If you need anything, time off, reduced hours, just to talk, I'm here. Thank you. Actually, I've been thinking. I want to take on more responsibility. I want to stay busy. Sharon smiled. I was hoping you'd say that. We have a new client, major account. I want you to lead it. The project was huge. Rebranding for a tech startup that was about to go public. It would mean long hours, lots of travel, complete focus. Perfect. Naomi threw herself into work. She stayed late. Came in early. The project became her life and she was grateful for the distraction. 6 weeks into the rebrand project, she was at a networking event for tech industry professionals. The startup CEO had invited her to meet potential investors. That's where she met Julian. He was tall, with kind eyes and an easy smile. An architect who designed the startup's new headquarters. They ended up talking at the bar after the formal part of the event ended. You did the rebrand? Julian asked. It's incredible. The logo, the color scheme, the whole aesthetic. It perfectly captures what they're trying to do. Thank you. You designed their building? Guilty. Tried to make it a space where creativity could flourish. Lots of light, open areas, places for collaboration but also quiet spaces for focus. They talked for an hour. About work. About design. About the city. It was easy. Comfortable. For the first time in months, Naomi laughed. Really laughed. At the end of the night, Julian asked for her number. I'd like to take you to dinner sometime. If you're interested. Naomi hesitated. Was she ready for this? Was it too soon? But then she thought, why not? She was divorced. Free. Starting over. I'd like that. Their first date was at a small Italian restaurant. Julian was a gentleman. He pulled out her chair. Asked about her day. Listened when she talked. Can I ask what happened with your marriage? He said carefully. You don't have to answer. But I feel like there's a story there. Naomi considered lying. Making something up. But she was done with lies. My ex-husband was having an affair with his half-sister. They stole almost $100,000 from my inheritance account. When I found out, I filed for divorce and pressed charges. He's awaiting trial for fraud. She's in prison. Julian's eyes widened. Wow, I'm sorry. That's insane? Yeah, it was. I was going to say horrible. You didn't deserve that. No, I didn't. But it taught me something important. I'm stronger than I thought I was. And I deserve better. You definitely do. They kept seeing each other. Slow at first. Just dinner once a week. Then twice. Then he started coming to her house for movie nights. Julian never pushed. Never rushed her. He understood she was healing. I'm not looking for anything serious right now, Naomi told him after their 5th date. That's okay. I'm just enjoying getting to know you. 3 months later they were officially dating. Nothing dramatic. Just two people who enjoyed each other's company. Who made each other laugh. Who felt comfortable together. Julian met Sharon at a company holiday party. This one's a keeper, Sharon whispered to Naomi. Don't let him get away. I'm taking it slow. Good. You should. But he's good for you. I haven't seen you this happy in years. Naomi realized Sharon was right. She was happy. Despite everything that had happened. Despite the betrayal and the divorce and the criminal trials. Despite losing 8 years of her life to a man who'd never loved her. She was happy. At work, her project was a massive success. The startup's IPO went better than expected. They credited her rebrand as part of the reason. Her boss offered her a promotion. Senior Marketing Director. A huge raise. Her own team. You've earned it, Sharon said. You've been operating at this level for years. It's time we recognized it. Naomi accepted. She also started a side business, a consulting firm helping women rebuild their finances after divorce. She knew what it was like to discover your money had been stolen, to feel violated and betrayed, to have to start over. She wanted to help others do the same. The business started small, just a few clients, but word spread. Soon she had a waiting list. You're making a difference, one client told her. After my divorce, I didn't know where to start. You helped me take control of my finances. I feel powerful now. Like I can do anything. That's what Naomi wanted. To help women feel powerful. To help them rebuild. 1 year after filing for divorce, Naomi sat in Patricia Chen's office for their final meeting. The divorce is final, Chen said, sliding papers across the desk. You're officially divorced. The house is yours. The money is yours. Everything we fought for, you got. What about Trevor's criminal trial? Scheduled for next month. But his lawyer is trying to negotiate another plea deal. The evidence is overwhelming. He'll probably plead guilty to avoid trial. And if he doesn't? Then he goes to trial, loses, and gets a harsher sentence. His choice. Naomi signed the final papers. It felt surreal. After everything, it was just a signature. A few pieces of paper. And she was free. Thank you, she told Chen. For everything. You did the hard part. You had the courage to leave, to fight back, to demand justice. I just helped with the paperwork. That evening, Naomi had dinner with Julian. She told him about the divorce being final. How do you feel? He asked. Relieved. Free. Ready to move forward. That's good. You deserve to move forward. They ate in comfortable silence for a while. Then Julian reached across the table and took her hand. I know we're taking things slow. And I respect that. But I want you to know, I'm not going anywhere. Whenever you're ready for more, I'll be here. Naomi squeezed his hand. Thank you. For being patient. For understanding. You're worth the wait. She smiled. For the first time in a long time, she believed it. She was worth the wait. Worth the effort. Worth the love. And she was ready to start believing in good things again. Trevor's trial was scheduled for the first week of October. But 2 weeks before, his lawyer called Patricia Chen. My client wants to plead guilty. He'll take a deal if the DA offers one. The DA offered 3 years in prison plus full restitution. Trevor accepted. The sentencing hearing was short. Naomi didn't attend. She'd already given her victim impact statement in writing. She didn't need to see Trevor's face again. But Patricia Chen went and reported back. He looked terrible. Lost weight. Hollow eyes. His lawyer said he's been depressed, not sleeping. He tried to make a statement before sentencing. What did he say? He said he was sorry. That he never meant for things to go this far. That he'd made mistakes but he still loved you and hoped someday you'd forgive him. Fat chance. That's basically what the judge said. Not in those words but close. She told him that his actions showed a profound betrayal of trust, a pattern of deception, and a complete lack of respect for his wife. She said 3 years was lenient given the severity of his crimes. Where's he going? Minimum security prison upstate. He'll serve probably 2 years with good behavior. Then 3 years probation. Plus he has to pay you the full restitution $95,000, plus interest. Will he be able to pay? Eventually. He got a job offer from a small firm willing to hire him after he serves his time. He'll be making minimum payments for years but you'll get your money back. Naomi felt nothing hearing this. No satisfaction. No anger. Just nothing. Trevor was someone who used to be in her life. Now he wasn't. End of story. Bethany was released after serving 18 months. She'd been a model prisoner. Got time off for good behavior. She didn't try to contact Naomi. Probably too ashamed. Or maybe her lawyer had told her not to. Naomi heard through mutual acquaintances that Bethany was living in a different state, working as a waitress trying to rebuild her life. She was making restitution payments of $200 a month. At that rate, it would take her 40 years to pay back what she'd stolen. Good. 6 months after Trevor's sentencing, Naomi got a call from Detective Rodriguez. I wanted to check in. See how you're doing. I'm good. Really good actually. I'm glad to hear it. You were incredibly brave through all of this. Most people would have tried to protect their spouse. You demanded justice instead. He didn't deserve protection. He deserved consequences. Well, he got them. Both of them did. And I hope you know you did the right thing. Cases like this often go unreported because people are embarrassed or scared. You weren't. You fought back. That takes courage. Thank you for believing me. For taking it seriously. It was an honor to work your case. Take care of yourself, Naomi. After they hung up, Naomi sat in her home office and looked around. At the business she'd built. At the life she'd created. At the freedom she'd fought for. She thought about the woman she'd been a year and a half ago. The woman who'd found a burned credit card and thought her world was ending. That woman had been afraid. Uncertain. Broken. But she'd also been strong. She'd fought back. She'd demanded justice. She'd refused to be a victim. And now she was thriving. Her business was growing. She had clients in 3 states. Women who needed help rebuilding after divorce, after betrayal, after financial abuse. Her relationship with Julian was solid. He'd met her friends, met Sharon. They were talking about moving in together. Nothing rushed. Nothing forced. Just 2 people building something real. Her job was going well. She'd been promoted again. Director of marketing for the entire firm. Her team respected her. Her projects were winning awards. She had her house. Her independence. Her peace of mind. She'd taken something terrible, betrayal, theft, fraud, and turned it into fuel. Fuel for change. Fuel for growth. Fuel for success. Trevor had tried to break her. Instead, he'd made her stronger. That was the real revenge. Not sending him to prison, though that was satisfying. Not taking his money, though she deserved every penny. The real revenge was building a life so good, so full, so happy that he became irrelevant. He was a footnote now. A bad chapter in a story that was still being written. A chapter she'd closed and moved past. One evening, Julian came over for dinner. He'd become a regular fixture in her life. Easy. Comfortable. Right. I have something to tell you, he said over dessert. Naomi braced herself. Was this where he said he was moving? That he'd met someone else? That it was too complicated? I'm falling in love with you, Julian said. I know we said we'd take it slow. I know you've been through hell. But I can't help it. You're smart, strong, funny, beautiful. You've been through something most people couldn't survive and you came out better. I admire you. And I love you. Naomi felt tears in her eyes. Good tears. Happy tears. I love you too, she said. And she meant it. I didn't think I could feel this way again. After everything. But you make me feel safe. Happy. Like I can trust again. Julian smiled. We don't have to rush anything. I just wanted you to know. I know. And I'm grateful. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Then Julian spoke again. Can I ask you something? Do you have any regrets? About how you handled everything? Naomi thought about it. No. Not one. I could have ignored the burned card. Could have convinced myself it was nothing. Could have confronted Trevor privately and let him talk his way out of it. Could have forgiven them both and tried to move on. But you didn't. But I didn't. I demanded justice. I fought back. I refused to be a victim. And because of that, I got my life back. I got my money back. I got my self-respect back. And they got what they deserved. Yes, they did. Julian raised his wine glass. To justice. And to new beginnings. Naomi clinked her glass against his. To new beginnings. 2 years after finding the burned credit card, Naomi stood in front of the mirror in her bedroom, the bedroom she'd completely redecorated, in the house that was completely hers, and smiled at her reflection. She barely recognized herself. Not physically. She looked the same. But something in her eyes was different. Confidence. Strength. Peace. Her phone buzzed. A text from Julian. Ready for me to pick you up? Big day. Today was the grand opening of her consulting firm's first physical office. What had started as a side business helping women rebuild after divorce had grown into something bigger. Patterson Financial Recovery Services now had 5 employees, an office downtown, and clients in 6 states. They specialized in helping women who'd been victims of financial fraud, identity theft, or economic abuse. They helped them rebuild credit, recover stolen funds, navigate divorce proceedings, and start over. Naomi had turned her worst experience into her purpose. Ready? See you in 10. Julian arrived exactly on time. He was always punctual. Always reliable. Always there. They'd been living together for 6 months now. He'd sold his apartment and moved into her house. It had felt right. Natural. Like the next logical step. You look beautiful, he said, kissing her cheek. You look pretty good yourself. The office opening was everything Naomi had hoped for. Local business leaders came. The mayor gave a speech. A local news station covered it. But the best part was seeing her clients. Women she'd helped over the past 2 years. Women who'd been broken and were now thriving. One client, Angela, gave a speech. 2 years ago, my ex-husband emptied our bank accounts and disappeared. I was left with 3 kids, no money, and no idea how to start over. I found Naomi through a friend. She helped me track down my ex, file criminal charges, and recover some of the money. But more than that, she helped me believe in myself again. She showed me I wasn't stupid for trusting him. I was human. And humans deserve second chances. Angela's voice broke. Because of Naomi, I was able to rebuild. I bought a house, started a business. My kids are thriving. And I'm happy. Really, truly happy. So thank you, Naomi, for saving my life. Naomi hugged Angela while everyone applauded. This was why she did it. Not for revenge against Trevor. Not for money. But to help others the way she'd wished someone had helped her. After the event, Naomi and Julian went to dinner at their favorite restaurant. The same place where they'd had their first date. I'm proud of you, Julian said over wine. You took something terrible and made it into something beautiful. I had help. Good people around me. You especially. I didn't do anything. You believed in me. You gave me space to heal. You never pushed. You just loved me. That's everything. Julian reached across the table and took her hand. I have something for you. He pulled out a small box. Naomi's heart skipped. Before you panic, Julian said, this isn't what you think. I know you're not ready for that. I know marriage is complicated for you now. I respect that. He opened the box. Inside was a key. It's the key to a studio space I rented. Downtown. For you. I know you work from home a lot, but I thought you might want a creative space. Somewhere just for you. To paint, write, think. Whatever you need. Naomi felt tears in her eyes. Julian? You mentioned once that you used to paint in college. That you'd stopped after you got married because Trevor said it was a waste of time. I thought maybe you'd want to start again. She kissed him. Right there in the restaurant. Didn't care who was watching. Thank you. For seeing me. For knowing what I need before I know it myself. That's what love is, right? Paying attention. A month later, Naomi stood in her new studio space. Blank canvases lined the walls. Paint supplies covered a table. Natural light streamed through huge windows. She picked up a brush. She hadn't painted in 10 years. Wasn't sure she still could. But as soon as the brush touched canvas, something clicked. Muscle memory. Creative instinct. Whatever it was, it felt right. She painted for hours. Lost herself in color and movement. When she finally stepped back, she created something abstract. Bold reds and blues. Chaos turning into order. It was her story. Her journey. Destruction becoming creation. At work, she'd been promoted again. Chief Marketing Officer. She had a team of 20 now. Her projects were featured in industry magazines. She was invited to speak at conferences. Her life was full. Rich. Meaningful. One evening, she got an unexpected call. A number she didn't recognize. Hello? Naomi? It's Trevor. Her stomach dropped. She almost hung up. But curiosity won. What do you want? I wanted to talk to you. I know I don't deserve your time. I know I screwed up everything. But I'm out now. On probation. And I wanted to say I'm sorry. Really sorry. For everything. Okay. I was hoping we could meet. Just for coffee. I want to explain. No. Please. Just give me a chance to. Trevor, I'm going to say this once. What you did to me was unforgivable. You didn't just cheat. You didn't just steal. You betrayed me in every possible way. With your own sister. Using my money. In my house. For months. And then you tried to destroy the evidence. You didn't just break my heart. You tried to break me. I know. I was wrong. I was so wrong. I've had 2 years to think about it and I don't care what you've thought about. I don't care what you've learned. I don't care what you're sorry for. You're not my problem anymore. You're not my concern. You're nothing to me. Naomi. I rebuilt my life without you. I'm successful. I'm happy. I found someone who treats me the way I deserve to be treated. Someone honest and kind and faithful. Everything you weren't. I'm glad you're happy. But please, can we just... No. We can't. This is the last time we're ever speaking. Don't call me again. Don't try to see me. Don't contact me. We're done. We've been done. She hung up. Blocked his number. Felt nothing but relief. That chapter was closed. For good. That night, Julian asked how her day was. Trevor called. Julian's face darkened. What did he want? To apologize. To explain. To meet for coffee. And? I told him no. Told him I'd moved on. Told him never to contact me again. Julian hugged her. I'm proud of you. For what? For choosing yourself. For not falling for his manipulation. For being strong. I learned from the best, Naomi said, smiling. 6 months later, Julian proposed. Properly this time. With a ring. They were hiking in the mountains at a viewpoint overlooking the city. The sun was setting. Everything was golden and perfect. Naomi Patterson, he said, getting down on one knee. I love you. I love your strength, your determination, your kindness, your ability to turn pain into purpose. I love who you are and who you're becoming. I want to spend my life with you. Not because I need you, but because I choose you. Every day. Will you marry me? Naomi felt tears streaming down her face. Happy tears. Grateful tears. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. They got married 6 months later. Small ceremony. Just close friends and family. No drama. No stress. Just love. Sharon was there. Patricia Chin came. Detective Rodriguez sent a card. Bernard, the private investigator, showed up with his wife. It was perfect. On their wedding night, Julian held Naomi close. Thank you, he whispered, for trusting me, for letting me love you, for choosing to believe in love again after everything. Thank you for being worth it, Naomi whispered back. 3 years after finding that burned credit card, Naomi had everything she'd ever wanted. Not the everything she'd thought she wanted when she was married to Trevor. That had been a lie. A performance. A life built on deception. This was real. A successful business helping women rebuild. A job she loved. A partner who respected her. A home that was truly hers. Freedom. Independence. Peace. She'd been betrayed. Stolen from. Lied to. Cheated on. In the worst possible way. But she'd survived. More than survived. She'd thrived. And that was the sweetest revenge of all. Not sending Trevor to prison though he deserved it. Not taking his money though she'd earned every penny. Not exposing his crimes though they needed to be exposed. The sweetest revenge was building a life so beautiful, so fulfilling, so happy that he became irrelevant. He'd wanted to break her. Instead, he'd forged her into something stronger. She'd wanted revenge. And she'd gotten it. Not through destruction but through creation. Not through hatred but through healing. Not through making him suffer but through refusing to suffer herself. She'd taken back her power. Her money. Her life. Her future. And she'd never felt freer.
At the family dinner where pride filled every corner and laughter echoed around the table, Ethan kicked his pregnant wife to the ground, calling her a gold digger who brought shame to his family, unaware the trembling woman he just humiliated owned the very company his parents had dedicated their lives to. He thought she was beneath him, but the truth about who she really was would soon turn his world upside down. How could the woman he scorned hold the power to destroy everything his family built? And when he finally discovers she owns it all, what will he do when the tables turn? The silverware clattered across the tiled floor as Olivia gasped for breath, her trembling hand pressing against her stomach. The room fell silent except for the echo of Ethan's furious words still hanging in the air. His mother, Margaret, folded her arms smugly, her lips curving into a cruel smile. His father looked away, pretending not to see. Ethan stood over Olivia, chest heaving, a man drunk on pride and poisoned by whispers. She's nothing but a burden, Margaret said sharply, her tone like cold steel. I warned you from the beginning, Ethan. A woman with no background, no family name, no class, what else could she be after but your money? Olivia's eyes welled with tears, not from pain, but from the unbearable sting of betrayal. Just a year ago, Ethan had sworn eternal love to her under the same oak tree where he first confessed his feelings. She had believed him when he said he didn't care about her past, that love was enough. Now, standing there with dust on her palms and his boot print on her dress, she wondered what kind of love humiliates a woman carrying your child. Get out, Ethan barked, voice thick with disgust. Before I throw you out myself. Olivia tried to stand, clutching the edge of the dining chair for balance. No one moved to help her. Not even Ethan's sister, who once called her the best thing that happened to this family. She looked at their faces cold, judgmental, triumphant, and something inside her began to shift. It wasn't anger, not yet. It was awareness, the kind that cuts deeper than pain. Without a word, she straightened her spine, her trembling hand moving protectively to her stomach. You'll regret this, Ethan, she whispered. Maybe not today, but someday. You will, Ethan scoffed. The only thing I'll regret is not kicking you out sooner. Her taxi ride that night was quiet, filled only with the hum of the city and the steady rhythm of her heartbeat. As she stared out the window, flashes of the past flickered before her eyes. Ethan kneeling with a ring, promising to build a life together. The late nights when she stayed up helping him prepare reports for his father's company. The laughter they shared in their tiny apartment before he moved her into his parents' mansion, and everything changed. Back then, Olivia thought love would protect her from cruelty. She thought her sincerity would win them over. But the Kings were not the kind of family who saw hearts. They saw status. What Ethan never knew, what none of them ever cared to ask, was that Olivia was no ordinary woman from nowhere. She was the only child of Henry Callahan, the founder of Callahan Enterprises, a tech conglomerate that secretly owned several smaller firms, including King & Sons Logistics, the company Ethan's parents had built their careers in. When her father died suddenly, she inherited everything, but she never told Ethan. She wanted to be loved for who she was, not what she owned. And now, she realized, that decision had cost her everything. Weeks passed. The divorce papers arrived like a knife through her chest. Ethan didn't even show up to sign them in person. He sent his lawyer, who handed her a file and an insult wrapped in a smirk. "Mr. King is moving on," the lawyer said, "and he wishes you well." Moving on to her, the woman, Olivia had seen whispering into Ethan's ear months before their marriage fell apart. Her name was Amanda Blake, a marketing executive from his office. Amanda, beautiful, bold, and everything Olivia wasn't in their eyes. Olivia signed the papers quietly, then looked at the lawyer. "Tell Ethan I hope she treats him better than he treated me." She didn't cry after that. Not when she moved into a small apartment on the outskirts of the city. Not when she gave birth alone to twin baby girls, Emma and Grace. When she held them for the first time, she saw her reason to live, her reason to fight. As the months passed, she watched from afar as Ethan flaunted his new marriage online, posting smiling photos with Amanda in luxury vacations funded by bonuses from her company. Every caption, every grin, felt like salt on an open wound. But Olivia didn't speak. She watched. She planned. Because while Ethan celebrated, unaware of the empire quietly under her control, Olivia was slowly repositioning every piece on the board. Soon, Ethan would learn that the woman he humiliated at his family dinner wasn't the powerless wife he thought she was. She was the storm he'd unleashed. 6 months later, Ethan King stood on the balcony of his new penthouse suite, overlooking the glittering skyline of Chicago. Amanda's laughter echoed from inside, soft and sultry, the kind that used to make him feel powerful. But lately, even her laughter couldn't quiet the unease gnawing at his gut. He had everything he thought he wanted: freedom, luxury, a stunning wife, and his father's approval. Yet, as the city lights flickered below, he couldn't shake the feeling that something invisible was shifting beneath his feet. Inside, Amanda leaned over the marble counter, sipping wine as she scrolled through her phone. "Ethan," she said sweetly, "did you see the news? Callahan Enterprises just appointed a new CEO. Some woman named Olivia Callahan. The media says she's rebranding everything, especially King & Sons Logistics." The glass slipped from Ethan's hand and shattered on the floor. The name hit him like a bullet. Olivia Callahan. He froze, his heartbeat pounding in his ears. It couldn't be her. It couldn't. His Olivia's last name was Green. At least, that's what she told him. "Ethan?" Amanda tilted her head, sensing his sudden stiffness. "You okay?" He forced a laugh, masking the tremor in his voice. "Yeah, just surprised. Callahan's the company that owns our logistics firm, right?" Amanda nodded. "Yeah. Everyone's talking about her. Apparently she's young, brilliant, and get this, mysteriously private. No one even knew the old owner had a daughter until now." Ethan's throat tightened. A daughter. Hidden. Private. The puzzle pieces started sliding into place, her reluctance to talk about her past, her simple way of living despite the occasional flashes of knowledge about business, her calm silence when he ranted about work. No, it couldn't be. Meanwhile, across town, Olivia sat in her corner office, her twin's photo framed neatly on her desk. She looked out at the same skyline, calm and collected, the image of Grace, but underneath, her heart beat with fire. Becoming CEO wasn't a revenge stunt, it was her birthright. But how she used that power? That was where the reckoning would begin. Her assistant, Mia, walked in with a tablet. "Ma'am, the Kings just received the new terms for their contract renewal. Their CFO called this morning. They sound panicked." Olivia didn't look away from the window. Good. Panic makes people reveal who they really are. Mia hesitated. Should I proceed with the restructuring plan? It's aggressive. They'll lose the majority of their stock rights. That's the point, Olivia said softly. They built their pride on my father's name without ever knowing who made it possible. It's time they understand the cost of arrogance. Her fingers brushed over the pen in her hand, the same pen Ethan used to sign their divorce papers. That night, Ethan's father, Richard King, slammed the contract papers on his desk. This is insane, he barked. They're stripping us of controlling interest. Who the hell does this Olivia Callahan think she is? Margaret, pale with fury, glared at the documents. A nobody who doesn't know her place. We made that company what it is. Ethan sat silently, staring at the name at the bottom of the letter. Olivia M. Callahan, signature elegant and deliberate. His chest tightened as memories flickered like lightning. Olivia sitting on their old couch, her hand on her belly, smiling when he told her he got promoted. Her quiet warning at that dinner, "You'll regret this, Ethan. Maybe not today, but someday." He swallowed hard, the echo of her voice crawling through him like a ghost. Amanda placed a hand on his shoulder. "Babe, we'll figure it out. You've got connections." But Ethan barely heard her. For the first time, the confident man who once kicked his wife to the ground felt powerless. He left the meeting early, ignoring the calls from his father's lawyer. The city outside blurred as he drove through the rain, his mind replaying every cruel word, every moment he dismissed her tears. Was she really the same woman? And if she was, what was she planning? The next morning, Olivia arrived at the headquarters of King & Sons for a scheduled inspection. The employees lined up nervously, unsure why the new CEO of their parent company was visiting in person. Ethan stood near the entrance, pale, trying to look composed. He hadn't slept all night. When the elevator doors opened and Olivia stepped out poised in a tailored cream suit, her hair pinned neatly, eyes calm but unreadable, the world seemed to stop. For a split second, neither spoke. The tension between them was electric, visible even to the interns whispering in the corner. "Mr. King," Olivia said finally, her tone polite but cold. "It's been a long time." Ethan's lips parted but no words came. She offered a small smile, one that didn't reach her eyes. "Let's discuss your company's future, or what's left of it." As they walked past him into the boardroom, Ethan's knees almost buckled. His parents' voices echoed in his head. The insults, the mockery, the way they had looked at her, as though she were nothing. And now, she owned them all. Olivia turned once, meeting his gaze over her shoulder. "By the way, congratulations on your new marriage," she said lightly. "I hope she treats you better than you treated me." Her heels clicked away, leaving Ethan standing in the silence of his own destruction. He didn't know it yet, but this was only the beginning of her revenge. Ethan's world began to unravel slowly, like a thread pulled from a perfectly woven suit. It started with whispers at the office, layoffs, canceled contracts, and suddenly frozen accounts. The company his father built was hemorrhaging from all sides. "Callahan Enterprises pulled 3 of our biggest deals," the CFO shouted during an emergency board meeting. "They cited non-compliance, but that's nonsense. We've been compliant for years." Ethan sat there in silence, staring blankly at the spreadsheets flashing red on the projector. He already knew it wasn't nonsense. It was precision. Olivia's precision. Every move she made was deliberate, calculated not to destroy him outright, but to make him watch everything he valued rot slowly before his eyes. His father, Richard, slammed his hand on the table. "We need to speak to their CEO directly. I don't care what it takes." Ethan opened his mouth, his voice barely a whisper. "I don't think that'll help." Richard's eyes narrowed. "And why the hell not?" Ethan hesitated, his throat dry. He had told no one the truth, not about the dinner, not about the kick, not about the divorce. To them, Olivia was just his ungrateful ex-wife. They didn't know she had become the woman now pulling their strings. Richard leaned forward. "Do you know her or not, Ethan?" He swallowed hard. "Yes," he said quietly. "I know her." Margaret's face twisted in disgust. "You mean that woman you married? That embarrassment you dragged into our home?" Ethan's jaw clenched. "That woman," he said, "owns you now." The room went silent. Margaret's lip trembled. "What are you talking about?" "Olivia Callahan," Ethan said, forcing the words out. "She's the daughter of Henry Callahan, the same man who owned this company's parent firm, and now, she's the CEO." For a long moment, no one spoke. Then Richard laughed an ugly, bitter sound. So that's what this is. Revenge. Looks that way, Ethan said. Margaret's hand flew to her chest, her face pale. We treated her horribly, my God. But Ethan couldn't bear the hypocrisy in her voice. We, you mean you? His father turned to him sharply. Don't you dare put this on us. You humiliated her in front of everyone. You made her leave. Ethan stood abruptly, his chair scraping the floor. You told me to. The room erupted in shouts, decades of pride collapsing into chaos. And outside that glass wall, the employees watched through the reflection, the once mighty kings, now devouring each other like desperate wolves. Meanwhile, Olivia sat in her private suite, reviewing the morning reports. Every strategic cut she'd ordered had gone exactly as planned. Mia entered with a hesitant smile. Ma'am, King & Sons shares dropped another 12% overnight. They're calling for an emergency investor meeting. Olivia nodded, her expression unreadable. Make sure they get an invitation to the upcoming shareholders summit. Front row seats. Mia tilted her head. You really want them there? Oh yes, Olivia said softly. They should see what real power looks like. After Mia left, Olivia leaned back in her chair, gazing at the twin baby photos on her desk, Emma and Grace, now 6 months old. Every sleepless night, every tear, every humiliation she had endured was now fuel. She wasn't just avenging herself. She was building a legacy for her daughters, one born not of pity, but of power. Her mind drifted back to that night she gave birth alone, trembling, her hand gripping the hospital sheets while her heart shattered in silence. Ethan hadn't called. Not once. But she had called her attorney that same week. And from that moment, every signature, every deal, every silent acquisition she made was a step toward this day. Still, a flicker of sadness lingered beneath her calm exterior. Once, she had truly loved him. Once, she had dreamed of growing old beside him. But that version of her naive, hopeful, trusting, had died the night he kicked her in front of his family. Now, all that remained was resolve. A week later, Ethan arrived home to chaos. Amanda sat on the couch, surrounded by shopping bags, scrolling furiously through social media. Ethan, why didn't you tell me your ex-wife is a billionaire? She snapped. Do you know how ridiculous it makes me look? Everyone's saying she's coming after us. Ethan dropped his keys on the counter, exhausted. It's not just you she's coming after, Amanda. It's all of us. Amanda's tone softened, but her eyes were sharp. You need to fix this. Call her. Apologize. Do something before we lose everything. He let out a hollow laugh. You think she'd take my call? Amanda stepped closer, her voice low. Then make her. Grovel if you have to. Ethan looked at her, at the woman he'd once thought was his escape. Now she looked like another chain around his neck. You don't understand, he said. She's not the same woman anymore. That night, unable to sleep, Ethan scrolled through online articles about Olivia. Every photo of her poised, confident, radiant, was a stab to the chest. The headlines were relentless. The mysterious CEO who rose from the ashes, Olivia Callahan, the woman who redefined power. And beneath the headlines, comments flooded with admiration. People loved her, respected her, feared her. He closed his laptop, burying his face in his hands. For the first time in his life, Ethan King felt the crushing weight of consequences, not corporate, but human. And somewhere deep down, a question he didn't want to face clawed at him. Had he lost the love of his life, or created his own destroyer? The ballroom shimmered with chandeliers and crystal light, filled with Chicago's most powerful investors. Tonight was Callahan Enterprises' annual shareholders summit, an event that determined the future of the entire corporate network under its name. Ethan King stood near the back, his suit pressed but his confidence shattered. His father and mother sat stiffly at a nearby table, pale and silent. Their empire, once built on arrogance and prestige, was now a crumbling ruin, sustained only by borrowed time and denial. Amanda clung to Ethan's arm, trying to mask her fear with a fake smile. You said this was just a meeting, she whispered. Why do I feel like we're walking into a trap? Ethan didn't answer. He already knew. Across the room, cameras flashed as Olivia Callahan entered a vision of quiet power in a sleek black gown. The crowd parted instinctively, all eyes drawn to her. Her presence commanded attention, not because of beauty, but because of authority. The same woman Ethan once threw out of his life now walked as if she owned the air itself. Because she did. She took the stage, her calm voice filling the room. Good evening, everyone. Tonight marks a new era for Callahan Enterprises and its subsidiaries. We've built something extraordinary, but evolution requires accountability and transparency. Her gaze swept the crowd, pausing just long enough on Ethan and his parents to make them shift in their seats. Some companies under our umbrella have forgotten those values. A soft murmur rippled through the audience. Olivia tapped her tablet, and the large digital screen behind her came alive, displaying the King & Sons logo, followed by financial charts, contracts, and internal memos. Gasps filled the hall as the details appeared: fraud, unethical labor practices, and hidden losses buried under inflated profits. Richard King's face drained of color. "What is this?" he muttered. Ethan's heart sank. He knew exactly what it was. Exposure. Olivia continued, her tone steady but laced with steel. King & Sons Logistics has been under investigation for 6 months. The evidence is clear. Effective immediately, Callahan Enterprises is terminating all partnerships, acquiring full control of assets, and filing federal charges for violations. Margaret leapt to her feet, voice trembling. "You can't do this. We gave our lives to this company." Olivia looked directly at her. "You gave your lives to greed and pride. My father gave you opportunities. You spat on that and on me." The room went silent, tension thick enough to choke on. Reporters scribbled furiously as cameras turned toward the Kings. Ethan rose slowly. "Olivia," his voice cracked. "Please, don't do this." Her eyes met his, unreadable but burning with years of restrained fury. "Do what, Ethan? Treat you with the same mercy you gave me?" He stepped closer, desperation breaking through his pride. "I was stupid, angry. I thought you were someone else." "No," she interrupted sharply. "You thought I was no one." The words hit harder than any blow. For a long, painful moment, the two just stood there, a man stripped of power and a woman who had reclaimed hers. Then Olivia turned back to the audience, her composure unshaken. "As of today, King & Sons Logistics will be restructured under new management. We will ensure its employees are treated with the dignity this family failed to show." The audience erupted in applause, loud, approving, final. And just like that, the King's legacy was gone. Hours later, after the summit ended and the crowd dispersed, Ethan found himself standing alone on the terrace outside, staring at the city lights. The cold air bit through his suit, but he didn't move. He heard footsteps behind him, light, deliberate. He didn't have to turn to know it was her. Olivia stopped beside him, silent for a moment. "I didn't do this out of spite," she said quietly. "I did it because you and your family needed to learn what real power costs." Ethan turned, eyes hollow. "And what did it cost you, Olivia?" Her gaze softened, just slightly. "Everything I once believed about love." They stood in silence, memories flickering like ghosts between them, laughter, promises, and betrayal. "I loved you," he whispered. "I really did." She exhaled, her voice calm. "Maybe you did, but love without respect is just cruelty wearing perfume." When she turned to leave, he caught her wrist gently. "Your daughters, do they know about me?" Olivia paused. "They know their father was a man who taught their mother how strong she could be." Ethan's eyes glistened. "Will you ever forgive me?" She looked at him one last time, her expression neither bitter nor kind, just resolute. "Forgiveness isn't for you, Ethan. It's for me, and I already gave it the day I stopped caring." Then she walked away, heels clicking against the marble, the sound echoing like a closing chapter. Weeks later, headlines flooded the media. Callahan Enterprises acquires King & Sons. Former CEO Ethan King declares bankruptcy. Olivia Callahan expands charitable foundation for single mothers. Olivia sat on her balcony, her twin daughters playing beside her. Emma giggled as Grace tried to catch the bubbles floating in the air. "Mommy, can we go see the stars?" Emma asked. Olivia smiled softly, lifting her eyes to the night sky. "We already are, sweetheart." Her phone buzzed another news alert about her success, but she silenced it. Tonight wasn't about revenge or victory. It was about peace. As she tucked her girls into bed, she whispered, "You'll never need to beg anyone to see your worth." In the stillness that followed, Olivia realized something profound. Vengeance had given her justice, but motherhood had given her purpose. And though the world would remember her as the woman who destroyed a powerful man, in her heart, she knew the truth: she hadn't destroyed anyone. She'd simply rebuilt herself,